3 speakers, I promise you. Only one left. You're about to put on your headphones. Let me first say that our next speaker, or performer I should say, is famous because she is the host, the presenter of the BBC technology show Click. That could be a reason to invite her, but there's more. We invited her because she's also a tech evangelist, a sound hacker, a synesthete, and a NASA datanaut. Are you ready to be blown away? You cannot be ready, but yet you are. Please prepare and give a thunderous applause to LJ Rich. There she is. Good to see you.
Everything I'm about to do is live. Nothing is pre-recorded. Okay, what just happened? How did you all know to do that? Something's going on. You all knew what to do. There are some unwritten rules here. We use those rules to create moods, like magic and mystery. Like strength and certainty. Or just something to keep us calm when we're on hold. These are our unwritten rules about how our body responds to music, how our thinking changes. And these are rules that we all seem to know so well. I have paid deep attention to these rules my whole life. And they are really hard to teach a machine. Now, in my day job, I'm a TV presenter. This is the sort of stuff I get up to. I present on the BBC talking about music and technology trends. I see the latest in consumer electronics. I get to hang out with startups, universities, hackers, and CEOs across the globe. I'm also a composer and sound designer even. And I'm going to talk to you about why we should think more about how we are wired to receive sound. These are some of my music installations. I like to build things that make people feel good. These up here, they're paper mandalas, and they're triggering samples from NASA's Discovery STS-135. They're at a festival in LA, and they're very happy at this point when they're playing. And down here was the Science Museum in London. I devised an experiment to see if I could derive the ultimate dance anthem using just data gathered from people's smartphone sensors, how much they were moving. I called it the Wiggle Index. I'm obsessed with how we, people, experience music, and I've built so many things that explores how we mess around with sound. See, you all heard that. Now, some of my inventions have been featured in the national press. I've lectured at Harvard, DJ'd in Tokyo, performed at the United Nations Palais in Geneva, and now I'm leading a project with NASA data scientists on data sonification, the creative way to express data using music. So just a few years ago, I found out that my brain is wired differently from most people. I've got a neurological condition called synesthesia. My senses are completely mixed together. My brain makes unexpected connections. Whether I like it or not, I see colour and I hear sound, I eat food and I hear music. And when I first tell people about it, many think that that sounds a bit crazy. Others find it funny. but most are interested to find out more. And about 3 to 4% of the population have synesthesia in varying intensities. Mine just happens to be particularly strong. Just to give you an idea, David Bowie. It's a kind of blue and purple. It's very pleasing. And then ABBA. That's like a blue and yellow, which is odd because that's the Swedish flag. And I found that very pleasing. Pop music, by the way, tastes like icing sugar. It's nice. It's quite insubstantial, though. You couldn't have a proper meal. So this is kind of the closest I've got to what happens in my head when I hear music. My synesthesia is not just about music. Everything, everyone has a note. The key you speak in, the noise of the trains and the trams, the slight floating feeling of this venue. I pay deep attention to all of it. And I'm inspired by it. And when it comes to sound, listening to anything shows up on a giant imaginary screen in front of me, about 3 to 4 meters. It's like an IMAX screen. And the sound splits into its component parts. For me, it's like an extra heads-up display. And I have complete control over it. Sound, like the orchestra, will just split into the instruments. I can scroll it forward and back. I can interrogate and query different parts. And the upshot of it is that I can hear and play stuff on the piano pretty much instantaneously. It's like having a massive brain recorder. I found out I can play with this mapping. I can augment my experience of food with music. For example, I recommend eating mashed potato and listening to the Eagles at the same time, you know? I don't know why. And drinking green tea and listening to Bach, it's very gratifying. You get the idea. Randomly, if you're traveling on a Boeing aircraft, I recommend Rachmaninoff's Concerto No. 2. It's unbelievable. See, growing up, I felt like music was such a deep experience. I couldn't understand how people were so casual about it. It amplifies memories. It exposes emotions. It puts us in altered states. In fact, music is a fundamental and universal human trait. It likely predates language. We are yet to find a culture that doesn't have music. It's biological. It's a part of us, you know. But we look mostly at pictures and words to learn things, even though studies show that singing information is easier to retain. Music is more than songs, it's more than breathing for me. And because of my lifelong study, I feel like I know how it works. So I'm going to show you. Now, in order to understand the future of listening, we need to think how music is built. Music is a repetitive phenomenon even. It's made up of a set of repeatable notes. Now, everything is made up of the same small base elements. Western music has one set of notes. Other styles have different intervals. Notes are combined in different ways. They're used and they're reused to create different feelings. There are dominant and recessive characteristics, and some expressions change others. Normal, happy, sad. So something interesting is happening here already. So what's the smallest unit of music? Is it a phrase? Or is it a sound? Ooh. Yeah, okay, I can really get into that. But how small is it? Is it like a single note even? About 20 years ago, a musicologist named Tim Westergren even wanted to map the music genome. It's now owned by a Pandora, a radio service in the US, which prides itself on a recommendation engine. And the project mapped music characteristics. Each song takes about half an hour to analyse. It's like repeated listening. Everything from vocal style, key changes, background vocals, how distorted the guitar is. Rock and pop songs have only 150 genes. They're not that complicated. Rap songs have 350. Jazz, world, and classical music have 300 to 450 genes, partly due to all the different orchestrations. So yes, at its heart, music is data. It's why so many musicians and people who love music like patterns and maths. But songs are like people. Even though they're roughly the same shape on the outside, we know there's so much room for diversity within. Now, at this point, I have to mention the 4-chord songs here. How many of you know about the 4-chord songs? Oh, good. Okay, for those of you who haven't seen the YouTube video, Aussie band Axis of Awesome talks about these 4 chords underpinning most of the pop music that gets played so regularly. Now, I believe this is so popular because it's the cheapest way to feel something. Musicians among you are like, oh my gosh, yes, you're so right. Let me explain why. Yes, see, even that bottle was stunned. So here we go. Here's your first note. Oh, we're at home. Oh, we're going away. Oh, we're a bit far. Oh, we're coming back. Oh, we're home again. So many songs have been built on this platform that you can actually just sing a whole wodge of them all at once. Let's see if I can get some of these out of my brain. With or without you, with or without you, don't stop believing, hold on to that feeling, and can you feel the love tonight? Take on me, never mind, I'll find someone like you. Since you've been gone, more than a feeling, I'm on my way, driving at 90. No woman, no cry. I mean, now if if you shift the sequence forward, you get even more. Let's see. Baby, I don't need dollar bills to have fun tonight. I said, why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? Oh, I wish that I could let you love. Wish that I could let you love me. I bless the rains down in Africa. We found love in a hopeless place. If I were a boy, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. In fact, even time to say goodbye. Paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te. You get the idea. You get the idea. It's always very vulnerable doing that. So let's just take a quick break and talk about how playing music, listening to it, and technology has played these key parts in how we consume content. So we're going to skip forward to the printing press, sheet music being spread, and I'm going to go and straight into the piano. Now, pianos used to be all tuned differently. You could play a C major chord on one piano, and it would sound nice, and on another it would sound a bit weird, but D major would sound better. And in the 1700s, there was something called equal temperament, and Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, wrote this set of 48 preludes and fugues called the Well-Tempered Clavier. It was based on a new tuning where all the keys sounded the same. It was great, people loved it, and they tuned their pianos so that they could play this piece of music that was so great. Everyone wanted to play it, and thanks to the content, as well as the technology, tuning was standardized. If Mozart couldn't travel, would he have been influenced by Turkish music? Thanks to technology, Beethoven has a louder piano. Let's see if I've got some. Yes. Do you know the metronome. That was cutting edge at the time. So he got obsessed with timing. You know, with 1906 came Rachmaninoff and radio broadcasting. Beautiful. And strings could be wound tighter, so pianos got more dynamic range, which made for even bigger orchestras. You know, we're going to go past the world wars into the 50s. Electronic music started being used in concert halls. Oh, the horror! Music from other cultures started to be heard by more people. And then the 60s brought music amplification, rock and roll. The tape recorder, TV, sound started to be spread wider than ever. And now we're into the 70s. Disco. Synthesizers were cheap. Synthesizers were not that cheap, but strings were cheaper than getting a whole orchestra. You could have strings for everyone. Personal stereo came along in the 80s. Sampling, hip-hop, dance music, synths, 90s, indie guitars, and then the internet. Oh, wow. And then music creation tools became more and more accessible. So we started getting these minimalist kind of trends. And then you got acid house, and then trance, and then this sort of globalization happens. Afro beats, Bollywood, and then we're into sort of drum and bass, garage, grime, EDM, trap, mathcore, mumble rap. You know, but we're streaming, and we're sharing on a massive basis. Streaming has changed the structure of our songs. It's made it all the more important to get straight to the chorus. I can see nods here. If you're not in that chorus within 20 seconds, someone's going to skip past you. Many songs we love would fail to pass the 20 seconds to the chorus. I mean, the future of listening, and this is where you get to finally put those headphones on. Yes! Can I also mention I've not tried this before? Why, one of the reasons I said, yes, I'm really up for this is because they said, do what you like. Okay, bear with me. Input enabling on. See, I think there are new rules evolving about how we listen. We're now in a post-screen era. We're talking to Siri, Google, and Alexa. Can we hear in our ears? Yes? Yeah? So, I believe that the emotional transfer system that we call music is used, in some cases, very well in advertising. And it's used really well in movies as well. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Yeah. When it comes to sonic branding, you may only be conscious of just a few. We're going to see more as we move from the screens and towards our digital assistants like Amazon's Alexa, Siri. I mean, I actually think of music as the brain's assembly language. I'm so surprised there's not more education about how music is working on us. If we had an instruction manual for sound, maybe we'd understand ourselves better. Basically working out those unwritten rules that had us all singing together. Could machines help us understand the rules of emotional transfer when it comes to music? Well, with a bit of server space, we can create AIs that make music, which is exactly what some people have done. Would you like to hear some music generated by machines? Yeah? Okay. This is fake Bach. It's pretty good. This is by David Cope. Bach wrote 1,100 organ works. He just threw them all into a machine, and what came out was rubbish. He then changed it, randomized a few elements, so it would break the rules, just like Bach used to. And then it started sounding like that. Okay, this is by Flow Machines. This is actually recorded by a human band, written by an AI, so it sounds more human. This is a song called Daddy's Car. Okay, fake death metal. This is by my friend CJ Carr. It's completely generated by sample RNN. It's a recurrent neural network. He's got a 24-hour metal stream on YouTube. Yeah. All right, that's enough of that. See, right now, it's not possible to make an AI that can cross genres. High concepts, like play this in the style of that, is something machines can't do. You can't do 2 Minutes to Midnight by Iron Maiden in the style of a Mozart opera, and yet our brains can absolutely absorb multiple streams of sound and unpack it. We can do it, Well, at least most of us can hear it and understand that's two songs at once, but machines cannot play two songs at once. Luckily, my synesthesia does allow me to do exactly this. So let's give your brain something to unpack. With the last few minutes of our time together, I'm at your service. Could you please call out some artists? Come on. Huh? Prince, okay. And some more? Some songs? Huh? Okay. And can we have some genres, please? Huh? Okay, we had black metal, hip-hop, and... Huh? Dolly Parton. I quite like Prince and Dolly Parton. What on earth gave you all that thought? I love it. Okay, so I've got to do Prince and Dolly Parton. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to think of a Prince song that I think would work in the style of Dolly Parton. So Dolly Parton is kind of like... Okay, and then you've got a kind of Prince who's kind of quite sharp, but also really sort of tight. So I'm trying to think of... Well, there's one that would probably work, actually. Just move my pedal forward. Why do I do this to myself? Why don't I just do a talk? Okay, let's see. Okay. So I'm thinking of, she wore a raspberry beret, the kind you buy in a second-hand store. I mean, you get the idea. You got it, right? Can't believe that actually worked. Wow, okay, and I put myself at your mercy, and I'm very happy to be inspired by you. All right, so for the final thing, I decided to do something I've never done before for Dutch Digital Day, because I knew you were an audience that I like to be challenged, and you are a fabulously impressive audience in terms of the way that you think, the stuff that you do, the things that you know. Machines are really quite bad at improvising. Both machines and humans need seeds to grow their ideas. Where do we find inspiration? Many of us use cross-modality. We go sit in nature. Or eat something amazing. But for most of us, we can find inspiration in the most unlikely of places, so I'm going to find my inspiration from you, Dutch Digital Day. Can you please just choose a feeling for me, a key and things like that, just a feeling? Happy? Gentle? Thirsty? I don't think you're going to get a personal sketch license after that, but it's okay. All right. So I'm going to just make my own idea up here, because I recently found out I can improvise using multiple instruments instantaneously. And I need to stress this, that what I'm about to do doesn't exist. It's composed on the spot. I'm inspired by you guys. None of this has been prepared. I've got strings at the top, bass in the middle, and drums in the bottom. No chords, no tune, just me. I'm going to try and improvise dance music, but the whole thing at once. And then I'm done. And you can have your drink. Okay, good. All right. Let's see. Okay, let's close that up. That works. Okay, that works. Oh. Okay, it sort of nearly worked. I think we've got limiter problems, but the idea is there. Our time together has come to an end, sadly. I'm going to leave you with one thought. We are made of music. Our bodies are full of rhythm, harmony, dissonance, tension, resolution. We absorb so much more than first thought when it comes to sound, and if we enrich our lives simply by paying deep attention to the music around us right now could hold the inspiration we spend so long searching for. Thank you for your attention. I'm inspired by all of you. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much, LJ Rich. Woo!